name's Bill Gladden, a wealth coach here at Money Matters. And one of the things I like to do for my clients is help them open their minds up to a new way of thinking, to become a free thinker. So I use this quote by Will Rogers. I use it through a lot of my video presentations. And the quote goes like this: "It isn't what we know that gives us trouble. It's what we think we know that just ain't so." For a lot of people out there, it's very difficult to let go of something you believe to be true your whole life. And that's probably because you only know what you think you know. So what I want to do is go over that story about David and Goliath. I know you're probably wondering, what's this have to do about cash flow and wealth coaching or my finances or retirement? What I want you to do is open up your mind. Ever since we were little kids in Sunday school, we've been taught how David defeated Goliath. But I want you to listen to the story again, and I want you to open your mind to a new possibility. So let's begin.
The name of the giant is Goliath, and the name of the shepherd boy is David. And the reason that story has obsessed me over the course of writing my book is that everything I thought I knew about that story turned out to be wrong.
What does he mean wrong? Goliath was defeated by David because of the righteousness of God was on his side. What other explanation could there possibly be? Here's a quote from Tolstoy, which I think is pretty pertinent to our little story. "Free thinkers are those who are willing to use their minds without prejudice and without fearing to understand things that clash with their own customs, privileges, or beliefs. This state of mind is not common, but it is essential for right thinking." What about the second part of that quote? It's what we think we know that just ain't so that gives us the trouble. I want you to open your mind and listen to his explanation.
Now, why do we call David an underdog? Well, we call him an underdog because he's a kid, little kid, and Goliath is this big, strong giant. But most importantly, we call him an underdog because all David has is this sling. All David has is this sling. That sling is not a slingshot. It's not this, right? It's not a child's toy. It's in fact an incredibly devastating weapon. When David rolls it around like this, he's turning the sling around probably at 6 or 7 revolutions per second. And that means that when the rock is released, it's going forward really fast, probably 35 meters per second. The stopping power of the rock fired from David's sling, it's roughly equal to the stopping power of a 45 millimeter handgun. So here he is, this shepherd, experienced in the use of a devastating weapon, up against this lumbering giant weighed down by 100 pounds of armor. Goliath is a sitting duck. He doesn't have a chance, right? Goliath is not what he seems to be. So to begin with, the Bible says that Goliath is led onto the valley floor by an attendant. And then there's this whole weird thing about how long it takes Goliath to react to the sight of David. So the most common form of giantism is a condition called acromegaly. And acromegaly is caused by a benign tumor on your pituitary gland that causes an overproduction of human growth hormone. And acromegaly has a very distinct set of side effects associated with it, principally having to do with vision. The pituitary tumor, as it grows, often starts to compress the visual nerves in your brain, with the result that people with acromegaly have either double vision or they are profoundly nearsighted. Why does he move so slowly and have to be escorted down into the valley floor by an attendant? Because he can't make his way on his own. So the Israelites up on the mountain ridge looking down on him thought he was this extraordinarily powerful foe. What they didn't understand was that the very thing that was the source of his apparent strength was also the source of his greatest weakness. And there is, I think, in that a very important lesson for all of us. Giants are not as strong and powerful as they seem. And sometimes the shepherd boy has a sling in his pocket. Thank you.
Interesting, isn't it? The real story about Goliath and David gives you a whole different take on it, doesn't it? You know, the definition of a free thinker is being able to change your opinion based on new information. Well, here's my question to you. If I could give you some new information and teach you how your money can still make you money even while you're using the money. Is that something that you think is worth pursuing? What if I could show you a way where you could do all this without having to pay any taxes on it? And how would you feel if you weren't dependent upon other financial institutions to tell you what to do or to charge you interest? Would you like taking back control over your life? I can show you how to do that and more. All you need to do is open your mind to a new way of thinking. All you have to do is bend over and pick up the rock and put it in your sling.
Today there are a lot of Goliaths out there, at least that's what I call them. Goliaths like these big financial institutions, Wall Street, the IRS, big government. Instead of letting them make money off of our money, I want to show you how you can make money off of your money while you're using your money. That's the exciting thing here. And just like David, who everyone said he can't defeat Goliath, David knew that armed with the right knowledge, he could defeat Goliath no problem. So now it's time to arm yourself with knowledge. So that's what we're going to do.